the wires, of Robotic Avenue. The startup's new headquarters, 1601 Robotic Avenue of Hightown, Madripoor, with the power of series of funding secured through Madripoor's venture capital firms. HyperTech Robotics, a rising star in the robotics industry, has made its bold move into the high-tech frontier. The company has just purchased an expansive property at 1601 Robotic Avenue of Hightown, nestled in the heart of Madripoor's futuristic skyline. This acquisition is pivotal as HyperTech Robotics embarks on its next ambitious project, the development of the T-21, a highly advanced and versatile robotic model designed to revolutionize multiple industries, from military applications to everyday domestic tasks. The property's impressive metrics, backed by expert evaluations, speak volumes about the potential of this newly acquired headquarters for the startup. Each metric is critical to the startup's long-term strategy, profitability, and growth prospects. Let's break down these key metrics and what they mean for HyperTech Robotics' acquisition in the heart of Madripoor's innovation district. Key metrics of the property acquisition. Property address, 1601 Robotic Avenue of Hightown. This address is located in Hightown, the wealthiest district of Madripoor, known for its cutting-edge technology firms, exclusive commercial spaces, and the bustling underworld market. It's a prime location for a robotics company looking to make its mark. Net operating income, NOI, $700,000. The net operating income, NOI, represents the total income generated from the property after accounting for operational expenses but excluding debt service. A NOI of $700,000 demonstrates strong, consistent cash flow, which is essential for HyperTech Robotics to fuel its T-21 project without relying entirely on outside funding. This figure reflects both the income from leasing space and the company's potential to develop the property further as a hub for innovation. Capitalization rate, cap rate, 10%. The cap rate is a measure of the return on investment, ROI, based on the property's annual income. A cap rate of 10% suggests that the property is generating a solid return on investment, meaning the company has a relatively high potential for returns considering the market conditions in Madripoor. This aligns well with the company's goal of maintaining financial stability as they progress in robot development. Debt Service Coverage Ratio, DSCR, 1.4. The Debt Service Coverage Ratio, DSCR, of 1.4 indicates that the company has sufficient income to cover its debt obligations, with a 40% buffer. This assures investors and stakeholders that HyperTech Robotics is not only capable of handling its liabilities but also has room to reinvest into research and development for the T-21 robot without risking financial stability. Occupancy rate, 88%. The occupancy rate is a vital metric, indicating that 88% of the space in the headquarters is currently leased. This high occupancy rate suggests that the property is well positioned in the market and attractive to potential tenants, which is important for generating steady revenue streams while the company focuses on the T-21 project. Tenant Credit Quality, A. The tenant credit quality of A means that the tenants occupying the property are financially secure, with a low risk of default. This further solidifies the financial stability of the investment, ensuring that HyperTech Robotics can rely on a predictable and secure stream of income while focusing on its high-tech ambitions. Lease expiration schedule, 5 to 10 years. The lease expiration schedule of 5 to 10 years is favorable for long-term planning. With leases extended over a significant period, HyperTech Robotics is secured against market fluctuations and has time to build its future strategy around the property. The long-term commitment from tenants adds to the overall value of the property. Market rent versus in-place rent. Market rent $35/SF, in-place rent $30/SF. The difference between market rent, $35 per square foot, and in-place rent, $30 per square foot, highlights a growth opportunity. HyperTech Robotics has the potential to increase rents in the future as the value of the property appreciates, helping to boost the company's overall income over time. This difference suggests that the property could be revalued to match the growing demand for futuristic office spaces in Madripoor. Effective gross income, EGI, $1 million. The effective gross income, EGI, of $1 million reflects the total income generated by the property from rents and other sources, after accounting for vacancies and operating expenses. This solid figure provides a reliable base for the company to plan its cash flows, ensuring that funding for the T-21 robot development remains uninterrupted. Operating expense ratio, OER, 30%. The operating expense ratio, OER, of 30% indicates that 30% of the property's income is allocated to operational costs. This is a relatively efficient operating ratio, meaning that the remaining income can be reinvested into the business, particularly the T-21 project. Property Condition Assessment, good. The Property Condition Assessment rating of good indicates that the building is in solid physical condition, requiring minimal maintenance. This is crucial for HyperTech Robotics, as it allows them to focus on innovation and growth rather than worrying about structural repairs. Market vacancy rate, 10%. The market vacancy rate of 10% suggests that there is a healthy demand for commercial properties in the area, and HyperTech Robotics is entering a competitive but profitable market. Replacement cost, $7,500,000. The replacement cost of $7,500,000 reflects the cost to rebuild the property from scratch. This value is critical for the company to understand in case of unforeseen events, as it serves as an indicator of the property's insured value and its importance as a physical asset for the startup. Loan-to-value ratio, LTV, 75%. The loan-to-value ratio, LTV, of 75% indicates that the company has borrowed 75% of the property's value to finance the purchase. This leaves 25% equity in the property, a strong position that suggests a balance between leveraging debt and maintaining control over the asset. Internal rate of return, IRR, 12%. The internal rate of return, IRR, of 12% signals that the company expects strong growth from this property investment, with an expected return of 12% annually. This is a positive sign for HyperTech Robotics, showing that their acquisition will likely generate substantial returns in the long run. Net present value, NPV, $250,000. The net present value, NPV, of $250,000 demonstrates that, considering all future cash flows, the property is expected to add a significant amount of value to the company's bottom line. This is a key indicator of profitability. Cash-on-cash return, 8%. The cash-on-cash return of 8% indicates that the company is seeing a solid return on its cash investment in the property. This allows HyperTech Robotics to comfortably fund ongoing operations, including the T21 robot development. Power Broker Score, 4 stars. The Power Broker score of 4 stars reflects the strength of the deal. It suggests that the acquisition was made through strategic and well-executed negotiations, with solid backing from Madripoor's VC firms. The Power Broker score is crucial as it reassures stakeholders and investors that the company has made a smart and sound investment. HyperTech Robotics and the T21, a new era of robotics in Madripoor. With the acquisition of 1601 Robotic Avenue, HyperTech Robotics is poised to become a leader in the robotics field. The T21 robot, the company's latest project, will be designed to bridge the gap between autonomous military units, personal assistance robots, and cutting-edge industrial automation systems. This acquisition is more than just a real estate investment. It represents the beginning of a new era of technological advancement. The company's 4-star Power Broker score shows that the deal was solid and strategic, enabling them to secure a headquarters that will support the T21 project in terms of both resources and innovation. The 10% cap rate and $700,000 NOI are great indicators that the property will help fuel their ambitions by providing a stable financial foundation. By securing a prime property in Hightown, HyperTech Robotics is not only investing in a building but in the future of robotics innovation. With a strong financial metrics backing them up, the future of the T21 looks incredibly bright as they push the limits of artificial intelligence and robotics in Madripoor's lawless, yet thriving, business ecosystem. On the bustling industrial strip of 1601 Robotic Avenue, HyperTech Robotics thrived, a cutting-edge robotics company at the forefront of autonomous innovation. But in the shadows of innovation, fierce competition was always lurking, ready to steal a march on HyperTech's market share. And just beyond the gleaming glass walls of the factory, in the seedy underworld of a lawless metropolis called Madripoor, sinister forces were stirring, each with their own agenda to control the world of robotics. HyperTech had recently unveiled its latest creation, the T21, an early autonomous model considered primitive by today's standards, but still a monster in its own right. A hulking figure with exposed wiring and a towering frame, the T21 was capable of lifting up to 1,000 pounds. Its large, red optical sensor, although a glaring weakness, was paired with simple artificial intelligence that made it a beast on the factory floor. But the T21, like many early prototypes, had its flaws. As much as it could lift, it could barely outsmart its opponents. It was slow, its movements clunky, and those glaring red eyes made it an easy target for anyone clever enough to notice. HyperTech's competitors, always circling like vultures, knew that the T21's flaws could be exploited, and they were already making their moves. At the KUKA facility in Hightown, the criminal underbelly of Madripoor thrived. Led by the enigmatic figure known as Viper, a brilliant scientist turned adversary, they had been working in the shadows to re-engineer the super soldier serum, something they believed would give them the upper hand over the world's robotics giants. Viper wasn't after mere military domination. She had her sights set on control over the very machines that HyperTech had spent years building. Viper's plan was simple: seize the technology behind the T-21 and merge it with the serum, creating a robotic soldier hybrid that would not only outperform any competitor but also be nearly indestructible. And where better to do that than Madripoor, the lawless city where no one would question the robotic oil stains left behind by a war between corporations. News of this illicit operation soon reached Tiger, the notorious crime lord trying to maintain a fragile hold over Madripoor's criminal network. Tiger, ever the opportunist, had ties with General Nwini Gokkoy, an aging but powerful figure who sought to maintain control of the city's criminal enterprise. But when word got out that Viper was collaborating with a new, mysterious faction within Madripoor's underworld, Tiger realized the T-21's technology could tip the balance of power in Lowtown and even Hightown, where wealth and influence ruled. Meanwhile, Zemo, a shadowy figure in his own right, had heard rumors of HyperTech's cutting-edge creations, and he wasn't about to let them slip into the wrong hands. With his connections in Madripoor, he set out to track down the origins of the T-21 before Viper could weaponize it. Zemo had his reasons for wanting to control this technology. His vendetta against Hydra and its twisted experiments with super soldier serums made him the perfect wildcard in a city of schemes. But he wasn't the only one. Daken, the ruthless son of Wolverine, had come to Madripoor seeking to take the T-21 for his own purposes. He knew the value of the serum and robotic enhancements, so his family had made a business of survival through extreme means, and a hybrid super soldier with robotic power could give him the edge he needed in a world that had long passed him by. It was an all-out race to control the future of robotics, and 1601 Robotic Avenue had become ground zero for a battle that would echo through the streets of Madripoor. The once proud HyperTech Robotics stood on the precipice, unaware that their creation was at the center of an underground conflict that spanned from the streets of Lowtown to the shining glass towers of Hightown. One night, under the glow of neon lights, the first major battle unfolded. Viper's soldiers descended upon HyperTech's lab, attempting to seize the T-21 blueprints and prototypes. As the glass windows shattered and alarms blared, Roughhouse, one of General Coy's enforcers, barged in, ready to take whatever they could carry. The battle was brutal, with the T-21 proving its strength, lifting and throwing men aside, but also showing its limitations, so its outdated AI struggled to adapt to the chaos around it. Just when it seemed like Viper's forces might win, Zemo appeared from the shadows, accompanied by a team of highly trained mercenaries. Zemo's tactical genius outmatched Viper's, but the arrival of Daken tipped the scales, bringing chaos to the already volatile confrontation. The battle was fierce, but in the end, it was clearer whoever controlled the T-21 would control the future of robotics in Madripoor. As the dust settled and the last of the combatants disappeared into the night, one thing was certain: the world of robotics had just entered a new, dangerous phase. The battle for 1601 Robotic Avenue and its creations wasn't over. It had only just begun. And in the twisted underworld of Madripoor, anything was possible. In the quiet of the night, with the hum of malfunctioning machinery in the background, HyperTech Robotics would have to face its competitors, the criminal underworld, and the legacy of its first creation, the T-21. And as for Madripoor, it was only a matter of time before the true cost of controlling both super soldiers and sentient machines was realized.